Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Grabo, and today we will be watching Reggie's new video, I Made Hell Noticeably Worse and Mortal Sin. This game kinda looked like a horror game. I'm not really sure what it is about, so let's check it out.
Mortal sin is defined as a grave offense against Catholic law.
Oh, what
Examples
isn't?
include marital infidelity, stealing from others, and chopping off a man's legs and head before killing him with 50 punches to the chest. However,
You know, the
only
usual.
one of those is relevant to today's video, because we've been sponsored to play Mortal Sin, explore its unique conflict resolution system, and find some of the most broken builds in the game to punish the citizens of
the
hell
gameplay
for
looks
not being
insane.
baptized. But first, what is Mortal Sin?
What is it, Reggie?
Imagine if the dark fantasy setting of Berserk had a threesome with the combat from Ninja Gaiden and the soundtrack from Diablo, and then died in childbirth. What you get is Mortal Sin. It's a fast-paced combo-centric
Dude, what is the
dungeon
color
crawler, which is
scheme?
less of a love letter to Berserk and more of a death threat. In this game, you play as the color-corrected swordsman who finds himself in a nightmarish hellscape populated by demons. These used to be people,
Dude, this
but
looks
their
so
sinful nature
awesome.
has corrupted them into
What's that?
soulless monstrosities of violence. If Jesus died to protect the sinners, then call
Most
me
critical?
the Antichrist, because we're killing everyone here. Our objective is to fight our way through 3 different dungeons and murder the Avatar of Sin. Not for the crime of corrupting humanity, but for having a stupid name.
This guy kinda looks like Joe
Could be
Biden.
done without viciously decapitating thousands of people and drowning them in a sea of their own carnage. But
Dude,
what
the
are you,
gore is
some
so
kind of pussy?
cool.
Mortal Sin didn't have to go this hard with its violence, but it did it for us. So pick up that 500-pound sword and get to work. Once you clean the gore out of your eyes and look around, you'll quickly realize this game has a very distinct art style, which before now could only be achieved by microwaving your eyeballs and overdosing on low-quality crack. In the immortal words of Joseph Diaz, I like my people with a little edge to them. If you tell me you cheat at checkers, I'm in. If you tell me you're
the
a
butt plug
committed
guy.
heroin addict, I'm in. And if you tell me you suck toes for breakfast, I'll be there at 8 a.m. I feel the same way about
Reggie is a
games.
feed
I want them to have a
fetishist?
decisive identity. And say what you want, but this is definitely decisive. Unfortunately, it has come to my attention that some audiences find this style to be visually oppressive, and instead
I'll be honest, this takes a while to get used to, I bet. It looks very hard on the eyes.
they put the game on the realistic setting. But in my
Oh, that
opinion,
looks much
that
better.
is the greatest sin of them all. It's like buying a sports car just to replace the engine with a 10-speed bicycle. This art style is a mentally ill Discord e-kitten. You're not fixing her, so just enjoy the ride. As a matter of fact, I'm putting this on Piccolo and doubling the grain for the rest of the video. You can learn to cope, or you can...
Oh my god, it looks horrible!
The choice is yours. With my dog shit opinions now permeating your brain, we can talk about the gameplay. What does it feel like? Well, go find a ripe bell
said it
pepper
was
and
combo,
tear it
right?
in half with your bare hands. It feels like that. Satisfying, juicy, and powerful. Mortal Sin features 16 classes, and each one of them will
I saw
gratify your
boobies.
sadism in new and exciting ways. Regardless of whichever class you choose, you will need to combo several different moves together to achieve maximal devastation. I have a strong aversion to the fighting game community for more than a dozen reasons, so when I found out about the comboing part, I was concerned. However, I can confidently say I haven't found any furries in-game, and no one on the subreddit has tried to groom me yet, so I think we're in the clear.
But how
Each
does the
class
combo
has around
system work?
6 unique combos to learn. That may sound overwhelming, and I won't lie, it can be difficult to remember if I'm supposed to kick, thrust, pivot, parry, dash, thrust, block, or kick, pivot, thrust, parry, dash, block, jelk, while I'm being beat to death by 30 demons. But most of the time,
It's
15
kinda like,
minutes of practice is all
God
you
of
need,
War.
and before you know it, you'll be throwing Hadouken from your feet and hacking people apart with a bone saw. For everyone else, it's not hard to gaslight yourself into believing you're good at the game by simply maximizing motion blur and pressing all of your buttons as fast as possible. So let's do an overview of the classes and see what they say about you as a person. First
Okay.
up, the Berserker. If you're playing this class, you're either brand new, or even worse, you're a speedrunner. As a Berserker, your very first weapon is this. I know it looks like a giant
The Berserk sword?
but it's actually a giant paintbrush, and they are the paint. And oh, look at that. The ceiling
And
needs
you
a new
are the
coat of gray
artist.
matter. better get to work. The Berserker specializes in the industrial application of violence through whirlwind-based attacks.
The
it
visuals.
also specializes in invincibility frames, because if you pick the right perks, you're going to be invincible whenever you're spinning, and you're never going to stop spinning. So just set up an auto-clicker and come back in 20 minutes when the final boss is dead.
What
Next
are those
class,
pictures? What the fuck?
This one is unlocked later in the game, and fortunately so, because I have it on good authority that the developer was smoking crack when he designed it. While exploring dungeons, all classes can find these red orbs that give helpful bonuses, but they also come with a curse, so you probably only want 2 or 3. The Martyr spawns with 6, and his damage scales based on how many he has. So the typical run will involve at least a dozen curses, which can result in some unexpected and painful gameplay patterns. For example, you might get the modifiers that make enemies clone themselves, release poison gas, slowing ice, projectile nukes, and AoE jump scares every time they die. Try parrying that shit. The final thing that makes the Martyr completely unhinged is that it effectively has only one combo. Ultimate ability, attack, 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 attack. That's all you need to have some of the highest DPS in the game.
Oh my god!
A chimpanzee to play Martyr. And 3 hours later, he hanged himself. In conclusion, the term painfully chaotic doesn't even begin to describe Martyr gameplay. And if you enjoy it,
looks
you are
absolutely
a special
chaotic.
person. One of God's own prototypes, a high-powered mutant of some kind, never even considered for mass production. The Martyr enthusiast is simply too weird to live and too rare to die. On to the next class, the Pirate. If you've ever found yourself in melee combat screaming, oh god, they're stabbing me, what the fuck, then I recommend playing Pirate, because the best way to practice social distancing is with a loaded gun. And this
want to
class
keep
has
your distance.
everything ranging from flintlock pistols to a literal
Dude, what the
cannon.
fuck is my internet's problem today?
Stylistically, very cool, and also
It looks cool.
very broken. Since the Pirate uses projectile weapons, we can pick up the skill Fracture, which doubles, triples, or even quadruples the number of bullets we fire and fans them out in an arc in front of us. Then, by combining that with Echo to repeat all of our projectiles, we can turn our
that looks so cool
into an automatic cannonball shotgun. This gets really out of hand when you realize these skills also apply to your ultimate.
Oh my god!
Is a single projectile that deals massive damage. Now it's 30 projectiles that wipe out an entire city block.
Dear God.
God bless America. If for some reason your megalomania still isn't satisfied, just get this legendary item. The Finger of Death is probably the best ability in the game.
What?
And guess what? It's a projectile. So have fun wave clearing the entire dungeon
Oh,
with one click.
oh
Next
my
class,
God.
the Reaper. If you feel it's unfair that surgeons have a monopoly on the limb amputation market, then this is the class for you. Because all of your skills and weapons specialize in turning people into human jigsaw puzzles. When I play this
but
class,
why is that
I like
beneficial?
to roleplay as one of the 7 doctors in all of Canada, and the monsters running toward me are my diabetic patients. I treat them with the most cutting-edge medical techniques at my disposal. You've got high blood pressure? I'm going to prescribe a sickle to the brain, followed by an industrial bone saw until you're a pile of ground beef. Take 3 times daily. This is a terrific class for society's most well-adjusted members.
Okay, so is the benefit of this class that you dismember your enemies, thus making them less lethal to you?
On to our next class, the Paladin. In Dante's Inferno, our main character is guided through the 9 levels of hell, with each one imparting an
What the
important
fuck
lesson
was that?
upon him. Similarly, each class in Mortal Sin is meant to impart something valuable upon us, the player. The Pirate teaches us the importance of the Second Amendment. The Martyr teaches us the absolute necessity of insane asylums. And the Paladin teaches us the value of blocking. In a game where every enemy is a blood-filled meat piñata, there is a temptation to hold down the attack button and never look back. But as a noble paladin, you must actualize the full power of your mouse by occasionally pressing right mouse button. The paladin utilizes unique skills to summon a rotating crucifix each time he parries an attack.
Oh,
These
that's so
things
cool!
are highly
Parry
dangerous,
class.
and you can farm them infinitely, effectively turning you into an industrial-grade blender. Reject humanity, summon 30 crucifixes, and become a kitchen appliance. Alternatively,
It's like
you
Hammerden
could go
from
for a
Diablo.
body slam build. This skill buffs the damage of your dash ability and scales it based on your defense. The inevitable endpoint of this is that you clear each dungeon through a series of carefully planned head-on collisions while role-playing as A-Train from the boys. And if you're going to go that far, you may as well pick up Combustive Rush, which makes your footsteps explode.
Oh my
I know all
god.
these mangled bodies look bad, but trust me, this is the most humane and pacifistic way to kill an entire room full of people.
Are you
In
sure?
conclusion, Paladin, blend people to death, explode their loved ones, and worship the Lord. One more class to
That
discuss.
doesn't sound very
If
holy,
you've ever
to be
tried
honest.
To calculate the profit margins on ripping people apart with your bare hands, congratulations, you're a hoarder. This class forgoes traditional weapons in favor of punching people 500 times. The best part is that by activating your ultimate ability, you can convert human suffering into extra gold in your bank account. Socialists will claim this is an accurate metaphor for late-stage capitalism and the undue violence it inflicts upon the proletariat. To that, I confidently respond, so what? If I have so much gold that I can power level to 500 and blow your head clean off with a right hook, then what I hold in my hand isn't just a weapon, it's the truth.
I can't respect poor people. I just stepped in some poor person's
Samuel Hayden, you bastard.
Disgusting.
On a serious
So that class is all about accumulating wealth, right? And then scaling your damage based on how much money you have. It's pretty cool, but based on the name, I thought it was going to be like something else, like scavenging for items, making you like a pack rat and being more powerful that way. But that seems like a lot cooler. Just turning your enemies into mush and getting like a shit ton of money, making your damage even higher.
Note, I think this is the strongest late-game class, and I'll tell you
Really?
why. In Mortal Sin, you need to spend money to level up, and the Hoarder makes a lot of money. Please stop. You're giving me a painful erection, are the last words out of a hoarder's mouth as they overdose on the capitalistic joy of liquefying an entire room of people to make an extra $10,000. However, it goes even deeper than that. They say that time is money, and as a level 20,000 hoarder, I'm going to need to take that too.
Wait, what is sin level?
Equip the Neuroshard helmet.
Oh, it's
this
your
lets
level.
me stop time for everyone else as long as I'm invincible. Then, by maximizing my cooldown reduction, spamming ult, and cycling the Vault Breaker combo, I can become invincible 100% of the time. Meaning, I have indefinitely stopped the flow of time for everyone who isn't me.
Jesus.
Even on a metaphysical level, I'm getting richer than you. And once I figure out the logistics of charging people time rent, you better believe we're making this into a business. Now, you may think that's all a little silly. However, until you have frozen time, punched a boss in the chest 600 times, unfroze, and then watched him explode into a million pieces, you can't fully appreciate the beauty of this build. In fact, you could be forgiven for assuming I'm using all of these overpowered strategies for fun. But I'm not. This
Are they necessary?
Because the final boss of the game has only been completed by 0.1% of all players. And if you're not walking into that fight with a supervillain level strategy, you won't be walking out. Animatic, or more fittingly, the filter, is where most people realize they've been playing the game entirely wrong. Prior to Animatic, you feel like an unstoppable meat grinder of devastation. But once you fight Animatic, you're going to feel like the main character of a cuckold video. You're in the ethereal plane of human sin, and this guy slaps your girl's ass. What do you do? Answer, you die on the spot, because almost everything he does can one-shot you. I think the worst part about this fight is that he summons two completely invincible demons to chase you around and fuck with you. Sometimes they kick your ass.
What a bastard.
Other times they just spin your camera around to disorient you into walking off a ledge.
Absolute
but
trolling.
all of the time, I hate them. I never considered being molested by invincible sex devils to be a viable game mechanic, and I still don't. From what I understand, the community is similarly displeased with this boss. But don't worry, I've already issued a credible death threat against the developer, so with any luck, he'll make it even harder. Now that we understand what we're up against, we can start a new game and begin crafting a horribly overpowered build.
Alright, Reggie laid on us.
With a little luck, defeat Animatic. But what class should we use to achieve this?
The
well,
Hoarder.
After much reflection, I've decided to choose Vampire. But why this class specifically?
Because she's
hot?
hot?
If you ever find yourself upset that the demons of hell aren't killing you fast enough, and you want to take matters into your own hands, then Vampire is the right class for you. First of all, no...
Oh. I'm gonna guess that the vampire uses their own health to power up their abilities and get more health back if you're good at the game. Which I bet Reggie might not be.
No health potions. Second of all, our attacks damage us. And third, we've got breast implants. Over dozens of years, the porn-sick gooner will desensitize himself to the point where he can't feel anything unless he's watching diaper Pokemon Yowie while stimulating his prostate with a lampshade. Similarly,
It'd be
all
like that.
masochists will inevitably find themselves playing vampire because it is the ultimate form of digital flagellation. On a second-by-second basis, our health bar takes a horrific beating, but our ult gives us a huge amount of lifesteal, and with the right skills, it can be completely broken. So let's get to work. We spawn in at the Nexus. This is a safe zone which allows us to craft items, accept quests, and access each of the available areas. To unlock the final zone with Animatic, we must complete 3 of these dungeons. But before we can choose our first adventure, meet Helena. She is a racially ambiguous fallen angel that offers quests for us to complete in exchange for taking her clothes off. After surveying the list of available quests, I've determined our optimal route will be Dungeon, Forest, then Vessel. This will maximize our gold gain and get us a high-level weapon right before the final zone. Now, onto the dungeon. This is a vaguely medieval
There's a lot more to this than I thought.
Mechanical traps, and whatever the hell this thing is. If the dungeon was a flavor of ice cream, it would look like vanilla and taste like dried blood, which makes it a great and disgusting place for us to begin our journey. Things start off quite smoothly. Just a few unarmed ghouls, which we readily brutalize with a stick. Proceeding further, we acquire some random pieces of gear, a couple of skills, and also a new staff. This one slows enemies, and from what I understand, boils the blood inside their body.
AoE damage?
Marvelous. Delving further into the dungeon, I noticed the architecture becoming decidedly more hostile. How politically incorrect. Then again, we're over here boiling people alive and ripping their limbs off like a lobster, so I suppose we can't judge. I head into the final section of the dungeon and immediately realize this place was designed by a lunatic. At least 50% of the square footage is actively trying to kill me. Every wall has
At least it's killing the enemies.
They've engineered spinning blade towers to carve us up like a turkey. On the upside, these traps also work against the demons, so I spent most of my time kicking people into them. Eventually, the mini-boss spawned in to kill us, but I managed to get him stuck on the blade tower, and after losing 75% of his limbs, we were able to finish him off with a kick to the spine. Coincidentally, this also caused us to step on the pink pressure plate and activate our quest. Helena wants us to kill the mutants in exchange for a large sum of gold, and they're starting to spawn in now. Because
those games look like so much fun.
It looks like they were all made using spare parts, and the more you stare at them, the less comfortable you get. So we give them the old razzle-dazzle and escape the dungeon to turn in our quest. To reward us for beating all of those disabled people to death, Helena gives us 50,000 gold, which I promptly invest at the leveling shrine. At this point, our build is what I would consider random bullshit, but we've got 2 more dungeons left to figure it out, so let's move on to the next
quest. We got plenty of time before we achieve godhood.
This dungeon would be more aptly titled The Farm, because we are a nice long stalk of wheat, and everyone here wants to harvest us violently.
However, I thought it was the other way around.
Our staff at the speed of sound, we are able to harvest them first, easily clearing the first few rooms and finding a new
just
pair
hit them
of
before they hit you.
These have a 12-inch long spike on them for lobotomizing people with our feet. The future of brain surgery has never looked brighter. Heading into the next room, I lobotomize my way to the quest marker and activate it. Our objective is to hold this circle against waves of enemies for about 30 seconds. This was easily accomplished by bludgeoning everyone to death with a crucifix and letting the others walk onto the rotating buzzsaws in the floor.
Yeah,
easy 100,000 gold once we get back to Helena. Proceeding into the final room, we're starting to fight much higher level monsters, which is concerning. However, if it has limbs, I can make it not have limbs. That is my presidential promise to you, dear viewer.
I'm not American. Fuck off.
When I accidentally sprint into these flying skulls, but after life-stealing my way to safety, I find the warlock who summoned them and make him disappear in a puff of red mist. Forest completed. Back to
Woo!
Helena, we grab our quest reward, power level a
Money!
bit, and prepare for the next dungeon, the Vessel. This is a pirate-themed area, which, if I'm trying to be nice, has a lot of character. If I'm trying to be accurate,
Spooky,
this is
scary
just pirate-themed
skeletons.
cock and ball torture. You ever want to open a door and get shot in the face by a cannon? You ever want to be penetrated by 13 men at the same time?
Dude, there's so
Maybe
much
get
bullshit.
dominated by a shark with legs? The Vessel aggressively caters to these needs. It's the hardest dungeon by far, but it also has some good loot, so let's give it a shot. Entering the Vessel, I quickly get to work emulsifying Long John Dickweed and his band of pirate followers, being especially cautious to avoid the rotating lawnmower blades they use as decor. After that, we come across a skill shrine and receive an upgraded hot streak. This gives us a 280% damage boost after scoring a crit, probably the best pure DPS
Crit
perk
build?
for this class. Moving through the Vessel, each room has a higher density of cannons than the last, and it quickly gets to the point where if we stop moving for even a second, we will die. So I activate
Dude, that
this
room
shrine
looks
in order to
horrible.
grant us a move speed buff. However, it comes with a curse which respawns all enemies in the room whenever I step on one of these pressure plates.
Wait, what is
you
that?
You could view this as a downside just because it's written in red. Or you could be illiterate and colorblind and never know the difference. These things are all about
Wait, do
perspective.
you need to
Continuing
step on
onward,
those?
we pick up a new Blood Cross staff, which lets us summon a maximum of 6 rotating crucifixes around us. This pairs well with our current strategy of darting around like a crackhead, because the crosses can pulverize whoever we bump into.
Wait a second, wasn't the crucifix the paladin ability? Or is it just like a generic crucifix from a skill he picked up? I think it's the latter, but it's a bit confusing. Anyway, let's continue.
Time for our quest, the Immortal Construct Challenge. Here we are in the cramped hallway
sounds
of a
very
dilapidated
ominous.
pirate ship, and when I step on this pressure plate, it's going to spawn an invincible and highly sexually aggressive demon to chase us.
Wait,
Our
isn't it also
objective?
gonna
Do
respawn
not
all the
get
enemies?
molested. I don't understand what sick satisfaction Helena is hoping to get out of this, but she's offering us a new weapon, so we've got to give it a shot.
Those
I
angels
hit the
being to
button
sick
and the
shit.
pursuer spawns in. As if avoiding my own rape wasn't traumatizing enough, we have to also manage this while being shot at and chased by anthropomorphic sharks.
How do you beat
Fortunately,
him?
by domestically abusing the dash button, we are able to remain unmolested and complete the quest. The carnage continues until we hit
Do
the
you just
final
have to
room.
escape?
This one is usually pretty challenging because it spawns 2 mini-bosses that
Oh
can
my
one-shot
God.
you. However, we have so many rotating crucifixes that whenever they get close, their arms and legs are peeled off instantly. So we complete the final room with
Aw, man.
ease and head back to the Nexus.
Okay, we're
With
back.
all 3 dungeons complete, we have finally unlocked the last area, the Maw of Sin. This zone is absolutely dripping
Ultra
in
kill!
Eclipse aesthetic, except at the end, instead of Griffith violating Casca, he's going to violate you. Once we enter, we'll have to fight through 2 kill rooms, the embodiment of sin, and then, if we're powerful enough, we can try to kill
Dude,
Animatic.
should I get
So
this
go
game?
ahead
This
and
looks
grab our new
absolutely
weapon from
amazing.
Helena and enter the Maw. The first room finds us trapped in a circular arena with about a dozen high-level demons. The cramped nature of this can be challenging. However, it also works to our advantage since we picked up the perk Manifest Weapon. Every time we combo, we summon ethereal rotating axes
that's
to
so
hack apart
cool.
our enemies, which allows us to quickly convert small rooms like this into large-scale meat grinders. Right now, it's only level 1, but as we progress, this will become a central part of our build. Using that, we made it through the first and second kill rooms with no problem. Now we get to fight the embodiment of sin. Like any well-adjusted
It's
man,
time to
he
fight Joe
climbs out of the
Biden.
floor and begins
Oh, no, this
assaulting
guy.
us with a giant mallet. In response, I employ the ultimate combo of running away. It's hard to see in this visual setting, but this boss is actually an amalgamation of dead bodies grafted onto some kind of homunculus. 10 out of
Godric
10
the
design.
Grafted?
Now, let's kill him. I get to work stacking my crucifixes and chopping away at his lower half. As long as we parry everything, we'll slowly wear him down. In fact, I've already managed to
is
grind
it,
off one
a
of his
stage
legs.
fight?
He's now summoning flying skulls, which can easily one-shot you if they land at the same time. So we use our ultimate to get some invincibility frames flames, dash through the skulls, and rip off the boss's left arm. Using that move once more, we also managed to get his other arm. He is now hopping away from us on one leg, so we corner him and tear it off.
Get his ass!
The forced removal of all limbs results in his immediate death. For my first 10 hours
Very
playing
good.
the game, I actually thought this was the final boss, but it's not. Through that portal is Animatic, the real final boss, and through this
Killing him
portal
is a
New Game
privilege
Plus.
to face
For
the final
vast
boss.
majority of people, you're not going to be ready to fight Animatic on your first run. Typically, you
Why
want
he
to do
look like
New
that,
Game
though?
Plus to get better gear and skills. To illustrate this point, I will now attempt to kill Animatic with my absolute dog shit build.
Yeah, that didn't go
was
very
an
well.
abject failure. On to New Game Plus. We enter the portal and arrive back at the Nexus on New Game Plus. This resets every dungeon and gives us a new list of quests. However, it also gives all enemies a power boost. This scales
Well, yeah, that's how
linearly.
New Game Plus
For the
works.
Redditors out there, that means straight line. Our goal is to, over the next 15 to 20 runs, gradually outscale
That many?
the difficulty curve by accepting the right quests.
Dude, how many hours does it take to get a build to kill Animatic? How long does it take, dude? I don't have 8 hours. Are you crazy?
Quests, picking the right skills, and farming enough gold.
Uh-huh.
In theory, if we do this, we can deliberately craft a broken build and possibly defeat Animatic.
Possibly?
However, it's going to take a long-ass time.
Yeah, how
so
long?
I'll give you the highlights. New Game Plus 1 all the way to New Game Plus 5, we focused on finding gear with good skills attached to it, then farming Helena for equipment upgrade quests. Only real members of my ethnically enriched neighborhood know that this is the most consistent way to become overpowered. Because
Upgrading
Helena
your gear.
absolutely juices the stat lines on your gear. Piece of shit boots you found at level 1? Yeah, upgrade them once, and they're going to last you the rest of your life. At some point during
Really?
New Game 5, we also stumbled onto a secret portal which teleported us to the Witch's Hut. This is a rare encounter within a rare encounter.
Wait a minute,
and
she
we
looks
were able
beautiful.
to trade with the witch to receive our first legendary item, Callistra's Embrace.
What is
This is where our
that?
build finally starts coming together, because every time we level up our combo meter, this helmet spawns in a black hole, which pulls in our enemies
Holy
before
shit!
exploding them into a million pieces. This gives us a tremendous amount of control over large groups of monsters,
here we go.
and pairs really well with our rotating axes. As a demon finds themselves sucked into the event horizon of a collapsing star, they ask themselves, how could this day get
Spaghettification!
any worse? Only for a flying hatchet to materialize out of thin air and cave in their skull. Picking up that helmet was a huge power spike, and as we
It
level
looks
up our
like
skills
it.
further, it's going to get ridiculous.
Dude,
Moving
holy
through New Game
shit.
Plus 6, we managed to pick up a Spectral Mace. This is our highest DPS
Ooh.
option for the vampire, and by spamming upgrades on it, we've turned it into an instant kill on almost every monster.
But is it gonna be good enough to kill Animatic?
By New Game 10, we're now at level 2000 with 200% damage, 51% damage reduction, 30% speed, and 50% crit chance.
Is it gonna be
However,
enough,
more
though?
Importantly, we found a new pair of boots. The Phantom
Yo!
Treads of Protection give us a chance to avoid damage in proportion to our current luck. At 100% luck, this becomes very broken. But even
Very
at
good.
50%, it's a huge boost to our survivability. With all of these new upgrades, I decided it was time for us to once again challenge Animatic.
I bet he's gonna
began
die.
my 6-hour-long descent into insanity.
See, 6 hours! My guess was 8 hours, I was 2 hours off. Dude, is he gonna win? Is he gonna win? I bet he's gonna die. He's gonna die for sure. Type in the comments below if you think he's gonna die or if he's gonna live. I think he's gonna die. It's like guaranteed. Okay, let's see.
Enter the Maw of Sin, kill a bunch of demons, blow this
Yeah,
guy's
yeah.
back out, and fight Animatic. We do
All
better,
right.
but still get crucified. Okay, let's try
See,
that
I knew he
again.
died. I knew it.
One
I knew
more
it. I knew it.
Back to grinding. Kill 50,000
6
demons,
hours
level up
for
500
nothing.
times. Animatic again, and die. More demons, more gear, more levels, more death. Try using a sword, try using your fists, kicking him in the face, different visual settings, complain to the developer, contemplate assisted suicide. Doesn't matter, keep dying. This is the difficulty of the gameplay loop. You can level up 1,000 times, but if your build isn't right, it's only going to make a marginal difference against Animatic. Right now, we're struggling for more DPS. Fortunately, by level 2300, we had a stroke. of luck. While exploring a dungeon, we came across Divino's Decree. These are legendary
Wait,
gloves
what?
with the Finger of Death ability. It turns your thrusts into spammable laser beam death rays.
Oh, that's so
This
cool.
is big. Following
Wait,
that,
we've
we
seen
did a
this.
run focused on maxing out all of our other skills, which has resulted in our final and most complete build, which I am now titling Cosmic Blender Death Camp. Allow me to explain.
Okay,
We
but
have
is it gonna
max
be
level
enough?
Manifest Weapon and Singularity. So whenever we level up our combo meter, we summon
Uh-huh.
a black hole and a blender full of axes. Typically,
Right.
leveling up your combo meter is done by doing combos.
Uh-huh.
However, killing people also helps a little. But by taking and upgrading the skill Combo Mastery, killing
Oh.
people now helps a lot. In fact, I've realized that the combination of these 3 skills allows us to kill an entire room full of demons while being AFK. All we have to do is level up our combo meter once. This summons a black hole and a bunch of axes.
Oh, and then it keeps feeding itself. Oh.
The black hole pulls everyone inward, forcing them into the axes, which kill them. The blending of a dozen people at a time causes our combo meter to level up multiple times. This results in an indefinite chain reaction of people being sucked into black holes and processed into pulled pork. Like it or
Very
not,
good.
but Cosmic Blender Death Camp is the pinnacle of room-clearing technology. Now at last, by level 4000, we
Is it gonna be enough this time? I'm gonna bet no.
have reached our final form. It's time to kill Animatic.
Is it
once
gonna
and
be
for
enough,
all.
Reggie?
Alexa,
Is it?
play lo-fi beats to study and kill demons to.
Wait, is this the OST? Gotcha? Dude, if this is the OST sounds so good. If this is the music
So
from the
far,
game.
so good. The only thing before us now is the big man. If we want to defeat him, this will need to be a mechanical symphony of everything we've learned up to this point. Phase 1, high burst damage with Finger of Death. Spam blood crosses and black holes while he's invincible. Parry any basic attacks and use ult to avoid the black dome of death. Phase 2, basically the same as Phase 1, but now we have to also avoid being sodomized. Phase 3 is where shit gets real. The floor is replaced by moving platforms, and the boss is tweaking out as if he just received a crystal meth enema. Honestly, an ass full of amphetamines is probably the best way to get through this part, because I've died here at least 100 times. But that ends now. Animatic spawns in, beats the shit out of Helena, and we get to work.
Are you gonna make it? Can he do it? Can he do it? Come on, Reggie, you can do it! Come on, Reggie! Come on, Reggie, you can do it, bro. You can do it. Come on, come on, come on.
Reggie, get up. It is not your time.
Come on, Reggie. Yes! Woo! Clappy! Bravo, Reggie, bravo. You finally did
Dear
it.
God, I can't believe he's dead. I've been farming animatic attempts all afternoon, and now my soul can rest. Following this,
Can
we're
you finally
teleported
kiss your
onto a floating rock
girlfriend?
where Helena gives us some exposition. But I was too hyped up from that fight to actually understand any of it, and I became especially confused after she dropped to her knees in front of me. I'm not going to lie.
Are you
receiving
God?
Oral sex from an angel while floating through oblivion could have been the greatest video game ending of all time.
Dude, she's worshipping you.
Unfortunately, that's not the case here. In fact, after 30 seconds of being confused, I accidentally kicked Helena in the face and killed her on the spot. I know this
Secret
looks
boss?
bad, but it's actually the good ending. Get ready for a lore dump. Turns out
What?
a race of angels called the Tarculents designed Animatic as a machine to aggregate, contain, and mechanically purify all of human sin. Think of it like DeviantArt being moderated by Grok AI. What a daring concept. However, we as a species are so profoundly degenerate that Animatic decided, holy shit, it would just be easier if everyone was dead. Which, from a problem-solving perspective, I can respect. Correct. Fortunately,
Uh-huh.
we killed him. However, Helena is worried that the Tarculents will build another. Which brings us, officer, to why I'm standing in front of a dead hooker. Animatic draws his power from divine entities such as Helena. So if there's no Helena, then there's no Animatic. I really wish she told me that part before I spent 25 hours killing demons, because I would have set a new land speed record for kicking her square in the jaw as soon as I started the game. But either way, it's all over now. Animatic is dead, Helena is on the underside of my shoe, and we are the Vampire Lord. Thank you again to Mortal Sin for sponsoring this
Dude,
video.
that was so
this
fun.
is genuinely one of my favorite games all year. Thank you to this month's patrons for supporting the channel, and finally, thank you for watching.
Yay! Woo! Okay, final thoughts. The game looks fucking whack. Like, actually crack cocaine. I think I'm gonna buy it and try it out. If I don't like it, I'll just like refund it in 2 hours, whatever. But I think I'm gonna try it out on stream. Guys, if you like this video, please, it helps me a lot. It would mean a lot to me if you could please subscribe and leave a comment down below. And also, I'd like your opinion because I changed my microphone settings, and I'd like your opinion on how it sounds compared to my last video. And with that, thank you and goodbye. Bye bye!